Alright guys, I just want to go over a little math. It's something we've already done in class, but I just wanted to review. I've divided each of these cookies into parts. The first cookie has been divided into halves. So if I shade one part, I have shaded 1/2. The second cookie has been divided into thirds. So if I shade one part, I have shaded 1/3. And the last cookie has been divided into fourths. So if I shade one part, I've shaded 1/4. The bottom number is the denominator, and it tells you how many equal pieces are in each cookie. Remember, we have said the smaller the denominator, the larger the piece. The smaller the denominator, the larger the piece. The bigger the denominator, the smaller the piece. So the more times I cut the cookie, the smaller the pieces become. But we also can compare these fractions, even though the denominators are different. I know from looking at my model that 1/2 is greater than 1/3 because this part of the cookie is larger than this part of the cookie. I know that 1/3 is greater than 1/4 because this part of the cookie is larger. Remember, if we cut these pieces out and laid them on top of each other, this part would be smaller than this part. Now what happens if I shade another part of this cookie? Now I am comparing 1/2 to 2/3. And if I cut this part of the cookie out and I laid it on top of this part of the cookie, now this part would be smaller than this. If I shade this part of the cookie, now I have 2/4. But if I cut this out, 2/3 is still going to be greater than 2/4. If I take this cookie away and I'm left with these two cookies, if you remember, we talked about where these fractions fall on the number line. If I cut this part out and I lay it on top of this cookie, the two parts will be the same. Think back to your number line. If we go between 0 and 1, this centerpiece is called 1/2. But if we partition this line into fourths, this becomes 1/4, this becomes 2/4, 3/4, and then 1. And 1/2 and 2/4 fall at the same spot on the number line. So when you're asked to compare fractions, if you will please use your model, shade in the parts that you're asked to shade in, and then compare what you've colored, you'll know which fraction is greater, less, or if they're equal.